This is Morten from English TV. We are here with Landa in Israel. It is tough times in Israel right now. We have talked to a lot of Israelis that are, of course, very concerned and very emotional and very influenced by the situation in Gaza. We have also got a lot of credit for taking, I don't think it's a very big risk, but it's always a risk to go to a war zone or close to a war zone. Then we were just about to remove this chair because we thought it was like disturbing the image a little bit. But then, and I don't speak Hebrew, but Amir told us that basically this is a poster saying that we keep this chair here until all the hostages that Hamas kept after October 7th, you said free, right?
Yes.
So that basically means that this is also a sign. You see signs of the photos of the hostages in the street, at the hotels, in the airport, at the offices. The biggest and worst terror attack that has been against the Jews since the Holocaust in the last century. And I know it's a little bit strange to have a very nice, good conversation with Amir with such an introduction, but I think for the background, I think it's important to understand. So, Amir.
Thank you, Morten, for visiting us. It's very, very important in these times, and we need to move to, to professional topics.
Yeah.
But I think it's also part of the story. Keeping business continuity is our way to win another fight. Not stop everything, but keep the business running. So thank you again.
I just after October 7th, I read from Karen Yakolev from HP. Yeah. She wrote, "If we don't continue with our lives and our business, we have given up." And I think this is why we have to talk about this, but also why we have to do what we're best at. And Landa is best at doing printing presses and new innovative technology, right?
Yes, indeed. So I hope during your visit you were impressed by not only the technology, but also the people that you met, the engagement of the people. And we're very excited to come to work every day. And we're very excited to see our presses and the applications, what customers are doing in the field.
The journey that you guys have been on must have been quite something, because one thing is that you develop groundbreaking technology, and of course sometimes groundbreaking technology takes time to get to market, and maybe sometimes the press, including myself, is not maybe always fair to maybe a little bit impatient for having this technology to the market. But it has been a game changer for me to be here with you guys, because nanography is actually way more than just print on paper, right? And that is something that we will write about, something that we will tell that story, because I think it's important. However, the reason why I wanted to talk to you a little bit is because you yesterday told me that part of your work is, let's say, when a customer is, let's say, showing a good interest in buying a Landa machine. Of course, you don't just see it, buy it. There's a process in before buying it. And you're involved with the customer trying to understand how Landa Press fits into a business, right?
Right.
Can you tell me a little bit about what is it you do and how do you do it?
Sure, my pleasure. So it's actually a team, my team, myself, and others that are working, covering different markets. Both the folding carton market as well as the commercial printing market, and we look at the different envelopes of value that we deliver to the customer. So the first one, the basic one, the core is what you're usually getting asked. What is the production cost? What is the cost of our existing production versus the Landa? And that's kind of maybe a simple one to answer, but it really doesn't encapsulate the entire value. Then you can go into more of an elaborate discussion, looking at their job basket and looking at everything that they produce and looking at the break-even point and how much we can save for each and every one of the runs. But even that is just the beginning of the story. There's much more value. There's value in re-engineering the process. So for example, think about collation, printing in collation. We print B1 size, so the size that already fits the die cutter. But instead of printing image number 1 100 times and then image number 2 100 times, think about an application like a retail store that needs to be different, a retail chain with different stores. Each and every one of them needs to get a kit with different quantities. Then you talk about re-engineering the process, and what if we print for store number one, whatever they need, and store number two, whatever they need. We save on manpower. Of course, we save on waste. The customer saves on waste. And that's another layer. But even that, Morten is not telling the whole story. And I think we discussed it today over lunch, what nanography brings. So nanography, and we're going to position it in such a way in the drupa show. Basically, when we talk to customers, what we see is that our technology allows them to run more. Run more.
And that
business.
is like a kind of the slogan for the 2024 edition of Landa, right?
Correct. That's how we're going to go to drupa. We discussed it with our customers, and it really resonates with them, because it's not only about running more production volumes through the speed, and now with the increased speed with the model, not only running more because of the superior economics, but because of the core technology and the application span, all within a single platform. I don't think there's any other platform that can produce such a wide application span with such economics. So we think about it, customers gets this press, and it's a platform for growth, for business growth.
One of the things that I remember when I saw Benny Landa's presentation at drupa in 2016 from the stage, which I really liked, was that the identification of that you had like digital print. At that time, it was dominated by toners and a little bit on the inkjet side. And then you had like the let's say the sweet spot between digital and analog. That was where basically Landa identified where the Landa presses should be, positioned. When I hear you and also your colleagues talking about nanography, it seems that in the understanding and also the business model, it seems that it's both digital in the mindset, but it's also offset kind of in this mindset. Do you understand why I say that? Or
so, of course, in terms of economics, the economics that we produce allow offset converters to embed the press and produce with the same kind of cost structure, and in a much more efficient way. If you think about the overall savings in waste and obsolescence, and that's not even counting the added value of quicker delivery time and the ability to attract customers through enhanced time to market. So clearly, it can do both offset and digital. In many cases, it enhances the offset. In other cases, it could completely replace the offset. But I have the privilege of doing this sort of pre-sale analysis with the prospects and modeling their future. And then after installation, I can follow through and I can see the actual results. And it's a great pleasure to see the model coming to life. Sometimes it's even better than the model because customers cannot perceive in advance, even if we tell them. It needs to sink in with their own production place, and then they see the benefits, and it's a great pleasure to see that.
The reason why I was asking was because I think that when you suddenly have a format that looks like something from the offset world, and you see sheets coming out of a machine, especially with your new 11K module, that is the same speed as an offset press. All the promises that was given in the past about speed and quality and having the advantages of the, let's say, the digital combined with the volume and the cost. I can't help think about that because the reason I'm saying this is just because when I talk to you, it sounds like that when you have, let's say that you have a smaller format, right? Yeah. Sometimes you just have to say that, okay, with a smaller format, the business model has to change a little bit because basically instead of printing in larger formats, now you have to address your business to a smaller format because most is maybe A4 or letter size kind of production. And I was just thinking that it must give you a lot of freedom when you talk to people.
Of course, when you go into somebody that understands digital, all the pre-press and even the selling of the applications is easier. And I don't want to mention other vendors' names, but it's pretty easy when you go into a digital place with several smaller digital machines. The story is pretty easy because we're faster, we have better economics, and it's just a basic number versus number. The integration of Landa into an offset facility in the world, for example, of folding carton could be a little bit more complicated. And it does require some time, not only in the installation, the physical installation itself, but also the mindset of the customers, the operational element, and also the sales element.
We often talk to vendors that are selling because the quality of inkjet in general has increased in 2016, of course, right? but we are in general also thinking about that maybe the time for the industry is to entirely new business models. So when you are in a pre-sales situation with customers, do you also have time and the ability to help them rethink their business in what direction could be interesting to go into? Or?
We build the case on basic economics. So that's the proof point. And we can show that for a customer that whatever he's producing right now with our press, he can become more efficient and save money and increase the revenue. But we also like to show him the other things that he can do. And a very good way to do that is by having prospects visiting our customers and see presses in action and see the wide application span that we have.
When companies invest in the second or even the third press, I take that the discussion changes entirely, right?
Completely. So it's a completely different discussion when you have to kind of elucidate the value of the press that is. You talked earlier about the fact that it's a kind of an offset form factor. And it's good that it shows the robustness of the press, but it's a little bit misleading because it doesn't show, the cleverness of what the actual press can do in terms of, for example, the colors, the ability to remove all the hassle of mixing to get to specific spot colors, eliminating the pre-press steps of moving from RGB to CMYK space. So there's so much value. And that's something that you need to explain to a new prospect, but something that is completely trivial and natural to somebody that's buying the second and third press. The sales cycle is much easier.
Obviously, now you have upgraded the S10 to the new S11, and you have that 11K kit and also the AI, print IA, precisely. Yeah. I mean, stupid me, but how difficult is it to take this technology to the next level? I mean, I think it is difficult because it has taken time, but now you have a frame, now you seem to understand it and have things under control when it comes to colors and speed and things like that. But I mean, could you imagine something that is even faster? Or
Morten, you're asking the wrong person. For me, it's easy and possible. I don't have to worry about all the things that the engineers worry about. So I'm very.
So yes.
Yeah, but I'm extremely happy to have in our toolkit those two modules which allow us to expand, reduce the break-even point because we can produce faster. So the break-even point improve the delivery times. So the conversation with prospects becomes even more interesting.
But the reason I was asking was not to get any technical thing. I was just thinking that when you talk to the market and you get better and better understanding of what the market needs, you showed us in your presentation this morning that you of course have to gather all that feedback and get it back to R&D so you can think about the next thing. But the next thing is already taking place right now because you cannot wait until the market is demanding it because then it needs to be ready. So I was just thinking the process of bringing all the valuable information that you get from the pre-sale situation and the post-sale situation and the second and third customers acquisition must be very valuable to the R&D team, right?
For sure. I think there's no better way to design and develop a product than to get first-hand feedback from customers. You don't stay elevated. So we have constant discussions with customers and what they need. And now our development is tied to customer requirements. On the S10, S11 platform, we have now done a significant improvement. I'm sure that there is more to be done on this platform. But as you've seen today, nanography is much more than just this encapsulation of the sheet-fed press. We have other presses in the pipeline, and the potential is just enormous.
Is that? I mean, I'm asking because I was thinking that when you work in a company that where so many expectations from the market has been since nanography was announced, is that the knowledge that you have about what is coming next and also the current situation where you see growth, is that also what keeps people on the toes? Because you said that people are working here. You have food that is for free for people 24/7 almost, right? I mean, is all that part of what creates the Landa culture?
I think it's all about the culture, and it's all about the people. So I think you had a little bit of a chance to see some of the.
Oh yeah,
people.
I mean your people are fantastic, right? I mean, also because we spoke about the diversity, you have Arab people working here, you have obviously a lot of Israelis working here, but it's interesting to see that this organization captures, I even think I saw an LGBTQ plus flag somewhere, right? I mean, it's just like...
we are diverse and we are in one sense a mature company that delivers mature products to the market. On the other hand, there's a little bit of still of a startup kind of atmosphere over here. You know, the spirit of Benny Landa is very much alive. One of his stories that he says that when he was younger, he needed to solve some problem in a new company that he worked for. He locked himself in the offices for the entire weekend. At the end of the weekend, and he was just a simple engineer. He came out with a solution. So this sort of spirit is well embedded within the employees. The engagement, the energy, and the innovativeness.
A very direct and maybe also a stupid question, but I ask it anyway. Okay. When you now have sold a machine and you go in your role to the post-sales process, do people make money on the Landa machines?
Well, the P&L of the customers is still their own.
Of course.
I'm sure that they're making money because we know that they're ordering the second and the third machine. So that's a proof. I can tell you that from the revenue side is something that is kept to them because they sell the end product. Course, yeah. But what I can see is the production cost. So when I look at the production cost and I compare it to what they produced in the past, the production cost improves, therefore profitability improves as well.
And that must also be interesting because, I mean, when I talk to, most of the people we've been talking to the past yesterday and today, been here like 3, 4, 5, 6 years, something like that, right? But the really takeoff of sales is within the past 2, 3 years, right?
Yes, and I was lucky enough to join just right at the inflection point.
It's because of you, man.
I'm not sure it's because of me, but it was lucky for me. Some people have spent more years here, but it's still for everybody. It's a great pleasure to see customers installing the machine, succeeding, and we're an industry that the end result. I'm thinking of other industries to see like a fascinating poster with vivid colors or an art book. It still moves me. So we're in an industry that you can enjoy the end product. It's not a boring, gray industry. It's a colorful industry.
Definitely. Yeah. And I mean, when we saw the samples, I know that they are prepared, right? Which is always the case when you see a machine at work. But Chika and I, we have been with 3 of your customers that have Landa machines and with a very diverse output from posters that look stunning to more like traditional direct mailers that are, let's say, normal kind of work, and that also shows the diversity of the machine, of course, right? And as you remember, we spoke about Hudson Printing, who was the first that bought the second machine from you guys, also said to me that compared to the other vendors that he has, that the productivity of the machine is really high, and I guess that is also like a let's say proof of not just proof of concept, but proof of everything that you've been preaching for the past years, right?
Yes, I agree. I think what is unique is the combination of versatility, and you saw the canvas examples for example, or for moving from folding carton packages individualized with variable data printing to calendars, to direct mail, to poster, to canvas. So combining all of that together, that's the versatility part. But then you add the productivity. So you can have maybe a small machine that does all these things, but it's not going to be as productive. So you put in the engine of productivity onto that, and that's business success.
I can tell you there's only one thing that I'm upset with since I'm visiting you.
Okay, what is it?
I predicted in my New Year's presentation that I thought that you would bring a B2 sheet machine to the market, but you didn't, right? But we have to stick with the P1 format for now, right? So it's interesting, of course. Right?
I read your prediction,
and you were smiling and saying, "No, he's totally wrong." Right?
I'll let him play with his games. Yeah. There are other players in the B2 right now. We're focused on the B1. I think we have a very nice proposition in this sweet spot. We know where we're going. We know who the customers are, what they need, and who knows what will happen in the future.
And you know why I hate myself now, right?
Why is that?
Because I predicted something that was not real.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Next year, better luck.
Thank you.